Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino's ninth film and it is set in 1969 Hollywood. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio as actor Rick Dalton and Brad Pitt as his stunt double and best friend Cliff Booth, and they try to figure out what to do and how they fit within the movie industry. Now, I didn't really know what to expect coming into this movie. I watched the trailer, thought that it was pretty vague. I just looked at the title and thought, okay, it's probably going to be about the late 60s movie industry in Hollywood, so I went into this movie somewhat blind. And I'm glad I did, because this is one of the most unique movies I've seen all year in the fact that it doesn't really have a narrative, like it doesn't really have a story. And that makes this movie very different to everything that's out today. This movie kind of feels like a documentary or a biography. People just do things that can be perceived as entertaining, kind of like a sitcom, and a lot of people might not like this and think that it is very boring. Now, I'm a very big fan of action and thriller movies that are very fast-paced, intense, while also having a very strong narrative. So this isn't really my type of movie, but I did know this coming into it. Even so, I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was very entertaining and interesting, very humorous, and there were some parts of this movie that were surprisingly intense. Although some scenes in this movie do drag on. This movie has a massive runtime of 2 hours and 45 minutes, and they could have easily shortened that, or they could have easily just made this movie 2 hours and 45 minutes longer. But it doesn't. And just as I think it's about to end, it actually drags on for another 30 minutes or so. And I'm actually glad that it did. Because without spoiling anything, of course, the last few minutes of this movie were definitely worth waiting for. I think the chemistry between Leo and Brad Pitt was probably one of the best things in this movie and made the boring parts somewhat entertaining to watch. I liked how Leonardo DiCaprio's character felt like he was dying as an actor and that nobody really recognized him, but eventually as the movie kept progressing, he realized that he was actually somebody. Margot Robbie, though, hardly had anything to do in this movie. It felt like she was very underutilized as this Sharon Tate character. She might as well not have been in the movie at all. Other than that, it was really fun to see the production side of this movie. You know, seeing them make the movies and then the director coming out saying, cut, you did this great or you could have done that better. Some shots would just be them sitting on a sofa watching a 60s TV show. And there would be a lot of these moments in this movie where it'd be us watching a movie of someone watching a movie. It was also nice to see 1969 Hollywood. I don't know how close of a representation it was though, but you could tell that it was pretty close. With the environment and people smoking everywhere, obviously back then, being completely unaware how dangerous smoking actually was. And then like people were drinking alcohol and whiskey, and there were a lot of hippies and hitchhikers as well. But I think this movie is a mess. Like, it doesn't really know what it wants to be. It has no identity. Almost an hour into this movie, I was like, wait, where are they going with this? What's the direction? There's not a very strong focus. One moment it's about an actor and his stunt double, but then that just kind of fades away. Like, it goes from about being about movies to kind of horror and thriller like. Like, I imagine one of the scenes to be on par with one of Jordan Peele's movies, Us. And the movie kind of feels like multiple clips just edited together. Clips from all sorts of places, and this kept going on for like until halfway through, where a narrative kind of forms with the hippies. There are some elements in this movie that just kind of falters away and doesn't really lead anywhere. There's a lot of moments like these in this movie, and I'm obviously not going to say what because I don't want to spoil the movie. But you will notice that there's a lot of everything in this movie. As an example, in some scenes I thought something terrible was going to happen, but nothing ends up happening. Like, they build up all that tension, but then it leads to nothing. But I did enjoy this movie because it was different and unique, and I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure a lot of people might not like this movie and find it to be pretty boring because it is different and not what they're used to. I can definitely see a lot of mixed opinions about this movie, but I know for a fact that a lot of people, myself included, will find some parts of this movie very intense and entertaining. And those parts of the movie was kind of what I wanted this movie to be about. More drama and more tension. More thriller elements. I'm going to give Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a B+. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? What did you think about it? Please leave a comment on your thoughts below. Like the video if you liked it, and drop a sub to help the channel out. Also, feel free to check out my previous video. Until next time.